Well, hello YouTube. So I'm going to touch on step number 5 again, and I jumped from step 2 to step 5 right away, since step 3 and 4 were basically cutting this, and I've shown already by making the template, clamping it to the piece of steel, and then just using my angle grinder, I just chop these off. Now in step 2 I mentioned that I have to take the bucket off, which I did. Took the pin and I put this piece there, which I think I talked about, but the reason I did this again is because I want to keep the space kind of even to when I put it back, so I thought if I do that, it might work. We'll see later. Now this is the bucket with my little kind of setup here. I already went ahead and tack weld one of the piece, and I'll show you in a minute. But basically, this is why I said, like, I was going to take the bucket off and use it as my own, basically, my own alignment brackets. Now I find out that I thought that Kubota building this in assembly line was, fairly precise, but as I slide these pipe in, this is what I'm using. These are my little side piece, as you can see here. I tack weld these on this piece right now, but so how I'm setting this up is I slide these in, I slide the top one in, and then I can take my piece and I can actually physically put it on there. And as you can see, that's how I'm using this as a holding station, more or less, to align everything. Worked out pretty good. I find out that I had to kind of shimmy some spaces here and tighten everything up to make sure that this was sort of in line with this one. I measured the top, center, bottom, make sure everything was aligned, pushed everything against it, and this is what I came up with. This one came out pretty good. It came out with, as you can see, it slides off pretty easy off my alignment, and I'll show you quickly here. The piece is not fully welded yet, but as you can see, this is what's going to happen is I'm going to put it in there, and I can pin it in there very easy now. Like, this is going to be my new bracket, which further down the steps, what we'll do to this is, again, the piece of step 2 that I tack weld will go on top of this, and this will eventually be the front of my quick attach. When this is welded on there, then this will lock into here. As I slide this in, this will lock into these. I still got to grind these to make them fit a little better, but you get the idea. I'll push the bucket in there. I'll be able to pin it at the bottom and pin it at the top, and then this will be obviously you'll come in like this, grab the top, and this will slide in the bottom, pin the bottom. But I still have some grinding to do to these, make them fit a little bit better. But this is how I wanted to show you how I'm lining everything up. I'm sliding these pipe in. Now the bottom one, I'll try to slide it in right now. The bottom one, as you can see, it went in pretty easy. Like, it aligns with the other side, and I had a little bit of pushing to do, but not much. So that's a complete alignment there, and this slides in easy through there or through over there, and that allows me to tack weld. Sorry, the bottom piece that fell. Sorry about the noise. But that allows me to tack weld my piece to my little joint, to my little pipe. But as I find out, Kubota's alignment is not as precise as I thought it would be, because this one here, as you can tell, when I push it in, those two are through, but then look at the gap. There's quite a bit of a gap, almost a 1/4 inch gap, that I gotta force this pipe in to get it in, to get that alignment throughout the two, which is kind of, I thought I was going to be precise, but it didn't really matter. But to show you what I had to do, once I tacked my piece in, as you can see here, I had, because I had to force it in over there, what happened is the inside pipe here, even when they were here, closer to this side, this sort of shoved in a little bit. It sort of pushed it in. So when I had these tacked, well, that's why I only tacked, well, two spot, just in case. I had to actually force in, one of the pipe, I had to sort of force it in with my pin. But now, as you can see, I drop this in, and I can drop this in, and they're completely aligned. So now I'm going to finish welding this, reinforcing this later, but this is one piece done. I got to do it 4 more times, as I will have 2 pieces that will hook to the FEL arm, and those will be permanent on there, which will act as grabbing my bucket and on and off. And the other 2 pieces will be for a future fork or a quick attached plate that I'm going to manufacture to be able to grab other things that I might think of. I might just make it permanent fork, I don't know yet. If I think of any other tools that I can use for this, I'll maybe make some sort of quick attach system for the other tools using the second set of brackets. So that's it for basically step 5, which I kind of jumped on before even step 2 was done off the tutorial. Now the tutorial, I stepped in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, you don't have to follow everything per step like I did, as my own the way I'm doing it myself. I even went from step 2 to step 5 right away. So you can do whatever step you want, but basically this is what I did to do the alignment. It works pretty good. I was actually pretty happy how this worked out, because as you can see, I could just grab this. I had enough clearance that I can still kind of move them around a little bit, so that I can kind of straighten everything out on there, which is much easier. And then once it's straightened up and I'm happy, I'm all clamped up, I tack weld all four little sides, and then you get this result, which to me is pretty tight and neat. And I tested it already on the FEL arms, so it works. So it's just a matter of finishing it, reinforcing it. Now I had said in a previous video that I was going to drill the little inside. I should have maybe done that before I welded it on. I guess I'll have to do that later. It shouldn't be a big deal to do it once. Either way, I got to drill it, so I'll find a way to do that later on. That is it for step 5. I will come back with other videos as I'm further along with the more finished product. Alright, see ya.